Lately, I've been doing a lot of work with the Enneagram. Those of you not familiar with it might want to look it up on the internet and get a better explanation somewhere else other than what I can give you. I'm sort of going to take it that by finding this video, you may even know what the Enneagram is and have an idea of what it is. But I like the idea of applying it to things that are important to me, like music. So I'm a musician, so I'm going to apply the Enneagram, which is a classification system, to music. And there are 9 points. I'm going to start at number 1. The Enneagram seems to be the perfect amalgam of everything I like. It seems to involve some numerology, it seems to involve some sacred geometry, a little bit of mysticism, but there's also some science and reason and fact and kind of mysterious history behind it. But other than that, it actually seems to be quite a clear and concise system of organizing. So if I start at number 1, the number 1 in a nutshell is the energy behind it is almost always a perfect, perfectionist, clean, very moral, highly organized, highly professional, very controlled kind of energy. So a person who identifies as an Enneagram 1 is probably going to have some of those traits. Very similar to somebody who maybe have a lot of Virgo in their astrology chart. They're not always Virgos. I mean, you can be any sign and be an Enneagram 1, but it does seem to align itself with that kind of energy mostly. It does seem that maybe somebody with a lot of Virgo may be genetically disposed to being an Enneagram 1 or a Enneagram 1-2 or something like that. But I would think in a musical context, the Enneagram 1 would probably have a very highly polished technique. They would probably have a really organized and clear and defined skill set. They would probably be interested in music that has a very clean production, a very clear presentation, something meticulously rehearsed and organized and scripted. It's probably not going to be loose. It's probably not going to be grunge music. I suppose any genre could fit here, but the professionalism is probably going to be number 1. It's methodical. It's going to be, again, precise. I would think a gig would probably have charts. You may even get paid for it. That's all right. But sometimes too much 1 energy, or if it gets drawn in the wrong area, they can be more professional than fun. Looseness and serendipity and improvisation and just kind of having fun and blowing off steam, they don't often follow that kind of energy. It can be they can be controlling or domineering, or as I said before, we're probably working towards the goal of getting something very presentable and very professional. The reputation is very, very important, and somebody with an Enneagram of 1 would probably be harder on themselves than harder on anyone else, just to make sure everything's flying in the right direction. So I don't know if you're an Enneagram 1 and maybe have some of those traits. It'd be interesting to maybe hear from you. As far as examples go, without actually knowing any of these musicians personally and giving them an Enneagram test, I'm just sort of thinking of what I know of them, the music that I've heard, the interviews that I've seen. I may be wrong, but these just seem to be guesses, high probabilities. I would think maybe somebody like Julie Andrews might be an Enneagram 1 musician. Again, somebody with a highly polished set of skills, and somebody who, at least professionally, represented somebody kind of morally clean. They usually don't do a lot of raunchy stuff, at least not professionally. I would say maybe somebody like Sting might be in there too, because again, he's a very precise, clean, organized, methodical musician, quite moral. If you've listened to particularly his solo records, they have an exceptionally high sonic standard. He looks like he would be a pretty demanding but organized and precise band leader. And maybe a music producer like maybe Mutt Lange, somebody like that, whose productions are so stellar and clean and pristine and so very, very, well, they're excellent and they're very high standard. But of course, the reputation of being a very, very hard to please producer as well. But often the ones will have a high rate of success because of their standard. So they are usually working towards something. So that's sort of Enneagram 1 in a nutshell. I'm going to do some others. I hope people click on these things and watch them and share them and stuff like that. So if you do like them, share, comment, do what you will. But I hope this works. I hope people like this.